Listening to Conversations with Pearl. This is Julie DeLucca-Collins with Go Confidently Coaching.
Hello, sunshine, good to see you again. Had to walk out to let you back in. Stuck in a storm of a relationship. Lost my fire. Oh, and I forgot about me for way too long. But it's rolled on. Now there ain't no shade around here. Once you leave the clouds, you're under 80. Funny how there ain't no rain or clean. Why'd it take so long to leave you in the rearview mirror? Now nobody gonna steal my sunshine or turn my blue sky gray. All I know is at the end of the day, wildflowers grow when there ain't no shade.
Hi, everybody. My name is Pearl Sharenza, and I'm so excited to have you all here today. I'm the owner of Women's Successful Living, and you are listening to Conversations with Pearl. And we're so excited. This is our first, I don't know, Julie, if you know, this is our first week of Conversations with Pearl. So we're
I
so
love
excited.
it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's just about having real conversations with women like yourself. So let me give you the formal introduction. So Julie DeLucca-Collins, she is the founder and CEO of Go Confidently Coaching. And she's also the host of the popular Casa de Confidence podcast, which is a fun podcast. I've had a chance to listen to quite a few.
Yay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. She's a dreamer. She's a traveler, a visionary, and adventurer. She's a risk taker, a loving wife, a daughter, the best auntie ever. I love being an aunt, and a doggy mama. She has a love for books. She's an activist, a philanthropist, and most of all, she's a supporter of women and their dreams, which touches my heart, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have her on our show. She has been a successful executive for 20 plus years. She doesn't look that old to be doing 20 plus years. She has started working with a life coach 10 years ago and loved how it propelled her further into living a life she loves and had imagined. So her goal is to help others reimagine their life. She has extensive experience in her leadership skills, life coaching, a vast history of assisting people in finding their success. She has individualized positivism, love that word, approach towards and helps identify and attaining your goals. Julie holds a coaching certifications as a holistic coach, a cognitive behavioral techniques coach, and a mindfulness coach, as well, my favorite area, meditation teacher certification. She is also certified as a social emotional learning facilitator and has completed over 200 hours of yoga teaching certification. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you, Pearl. I don't know who you're talking about, honestly. I hear all of that. I'm going to give you a little insight. My husband wrote a lot of that. So,
well, he loves you.
He loves me. And
yes.
He puts it out there, I guess. But
and
thank you again for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I can tell you from watching and getting to know you these past few weeks, all of it is very, very true. So I'm excited to have you on today. So we're going to
so excited for sure. Thank you again.
You're welcome. So we're going to dig really deep now. Let's just get started. Okay.
Let's do it.
Reimagining your life, right? Mm-hmm. So you help others reimagine your life. So tell us, at what point in your life did you realize I need to do something? I need to start reimagining who I am and do something.
Yeah. So I would have to say, if I had to really pinpoint a moment, it was probably, and I can give you a specific date too. My gosh, it was December 14th, 2009. And it was it's December 14th is the anniversary of my grandparents getting married. And they got married in 1941. And I was very close to my maternal grandparents. And that day, is the day that I decided that I was going to leave my previous marriage. And I'm not going to go into the whole big, sad, but really empowering story. But it was a story that I had to decide and make the decision that this is a painful choice. There's a lot of fear involved in it, but I am going to leave that marriage. And I know that I'm scared. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I need to reimagine my life, and I need to create a new life for myself. And that put me in a journey that led me to being here. I no longer live in New York City. I no longer work as an executive in a large company in New York City, but I am doing the things that I love, and I have a life that I really could have dreamed about, and really now I live it. So I am thrilled to be here, and that's the moment and the instance in which it happened, and I started to reimagine and redesign my life.
That's, I mean, and to know the date too, that's just like really powerful. And I think for me too, like I can remember those certain dates in my life, like where those were monumental changes that I did something, right? Mm-hmm. And so in doing that, so you decided you wanted to bring this to the world. So what led you on that path, and when was that decision to be like, I'm going to go get my certification? First of all, let's talk about, you decided to work with a coach, right? I mean, so many times we don't decide to work with the coach, right? Like we just think we got it all under control. And, you know, as you and I have talked, I'm very much about self-care and putting oneself first, right? So at what point did you say to yourself, I need to put myself first? After going through that divorce and that situation?
Yeah. So one of the first things that I did is I certainly knew that there was a lot of pain and a lot of anger and different things and emotional turmoil that I needed to really be able to resolve. So I did go and work with a therapist. But here's the thing. A therapist is not a coach. A coach is someone who is going to ask you the kind of questions that are going to propel you into action. And it's someone who's going to cheerlead for you and is going to guide you in a process. A coach is someone also that is there to sort of mirror to you the things that are already inside you, but you need to have the accountability to go forward in. And it was shortly after my divorce that I actually found a coach, and it was a life coach, and it was someone who I just thought, okay, well, I need to change something. I just wasn't sure what, and I wasn't sure what I was going after. I certainly, at the time, I was vice president of the organization that I worked for, but I knew that I wanted more and I wanted to excel. And there was something in my mindset that was preventing me from getting there. I definitely had the skill, I had the drive, I had the habits, because I had been successful already, right? But I needed to redefine a lot of it. And that was one of the first things that I did, is redefining them by finding someone who saw it in me and then taught me the mindset and the tools to be able to redefine and do that.
That's awesome. And talking about mindset, like, you know, I don't know if you saw this morning, I did a live about not just mindset, but manifesting what we want, right? Mindset behind journaling and manifesting what those things are that, you know, that we want, that we know we deserve, and it's time to bring it out to the world, right? Because I truly believe we all have a gift inside. No matter who you believe in, whatever your faith is, we have a gift inside that's been given to us, and we need to bring it forward. And when we don't bring it out to the world, we're cheating the world. We're cheating them of that amazing gift, which is, you know, for you, you've started this great coaching program and these opportunities. So tell us a little bit about what you do and how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. So one of the biggest things that, you know, through the evolution, and it's been a little bit over 10 years since all of that happened, what I found is that in my journey, and even before that, many individuals, especially women, would come to me and say, oh, I wish I was as confident as you are. I wish I could fill in the blank. And then I thought, you know, yes, I know I have a level of confidence. I know, you know, and I will toot my own horn at times, but I also know that I don't always feel fearless, but I move forward despite the fear. And I think that my goal was to really be able to breathe that belief into others, because I've been very lucky. I had a grandmother that was, you know, a great example of, I guess I hate to use this word at times, but feminism, right? She really was independent and she really forged her own way. And I learned that from her. She also was a great leader and empower other women and men and individuals to be leaders in their own place. And I had a great dad, and he really, he is a person who was my business mentor who I always would go to, but many people haven't had that. And I wanted to be that for others as well, because it doesn't matter who you've had in the past. You need to find the right people that can help you get to the place where you want to be in the future and can help you create that vision and the simple habits that will get you to get there. So I knew that in working with women, I needed to, just give back. And at first, I wasn't sure in what capacity, right? I work in leadership programs. I have business skills. I also have the mindfulness certifications behind me. And what I started to see is that I can help women who are too afraid of launching a business, growing a business, because I have those individual technical skills and I've done it successfully. I've grown from new business lines to multi-million-dollar business lines. And I know how to market. I know how to, do your financials, do the research on the technology that you're going to need, how to hire, how to grow, how to really perform. But I also know that you personally, as the person sitting in charge of whatever business it is, you have to have the right mindset. You have to have the skills to manage your mind, because guess what? You can have great skills, but if you don't know how to manage your mind, you're not going to be successful. You're going to fall back in habits that don't serve you. So I wanted to be able to do that. And I started to combine all of that. And that's how Go Confidently Services started, because I do work with individual women who are emerging business owners trying to grow. Maybe they're taking from a little seed of an idea to blasting it out, or maybe they already have established something, but they don't know where to go from here, right? They have a name, they have a logo, and they're like, okay, how do I get clients now, right? I help them do that. Or there might be someone who, I also have corporate clients. They're a small business running, they've been doing really well, but now like, wait a minute, how do I get from 1 million to 2? I help you do that.
And I think that's powerful, because like as an entrepreneur and business owner myself, I mean, I feel like this is the year that I've kind of like, okay, I got all 4 tires going, and, I feel really confident where we're going. Right. And who I need on board with me. And if I had, looking back, if I could rewind everything, and I would be like, I would have grabbed somebody like you to be like, okay, these are the steps you need to do. Mm-hmm. And this is where I think for entrepreneurs too, we think we forget that, yeah, it might cost you something to have a coach, or it might cost you something to have a virtual assistant, whatever that is. But you have to remember, what is your wheelhouse? Like, what do you do best? Am I better at coaching and working with a client as opposed to doing emails? And if I can pay $10 or $15 to do my email campaign, and then I could be over here working with a client, I make more money working with the client than I do with that $10 email campaign that I'm trying to work, right?
Absolutely. And Pearl, you really hit it on the head. And I don't know if you were in the room. I think it was Monday. We were in Clubhouse with some of my friends, and we do a room at 10 a.m. And then we were talking about overwhelm. And here's the problem with overwhelm. As most women entrepreneurs, and I guess it happens to men as well, we go in a lot of different directions. We're like, oh, I'm going to do this. So one of the things that you really need to have is someone like me, a coach, that's going to say, okay, these are your values. These values drive what your personal brand is as a business. Once you understand what your personal brand is, you can create messaging to really bring in the clients that you want to service. Once you're bringing in the clients, you're going to have your daily task. Now, you as the owner of the company, you have a value for what you are worth, what your time is worth. Something like maybe sending out emails. And it's not that it's you're greater than or less than. It's just that you can hire somebody else, and you're bringing somebody else up by giving them the opportunity to work in their zone of genius. Sure, can I clean a toilet? But I can clean the toilet better than anyone I know. But guess what? My time is better used doing something else. So will bring in a cleaning service to help me when I need the assistance. And it gives me time also to balance and spend time with my husband, or maybe go for a walk and take care of myself, because that's important. If you're pouring from an empty cup, you're not going to be able to be sustainable and keep going.
That's so true. And that leads to the next question, because you're right. I mean, I'd rather spend more time with my husband or my kid. You know, my boys are older now, but you know, looking back, it's like, wow, if I had just done, you know, like you said, hire a cleaning service, or, you know, let somebody help me do, you know, a mailing or whatever that is, I might have been, you know, better at my self-care, which is what, you know, for those who've heard my story, that's what led me down. Is I did not take care of myself. Like, I felt like I had to take care of everybody else but me, and my business suffered for it. When I finally grasped that, that's when we did a pivot from, we used to be called Body Works Health and Wellness Center, to Women's Successful Living, because I want women to understand that it's okay to take care of yourself and not have that guiltless self-care, right? So let's talk about that, Julie. Let's talk about, what do you do for self-care? So we heard about you balance. You bring somebody in to help you around the house when necessary. What do you do to make sure you're taking care of your self-care? And is there any particular advice or suggestion that you could offer somebody? Like, I know I do a quarterly staycation. Like, I go quarterly. I mean, I'm here in Tampa, so we've got great beaches nearby. So I'll grab a free hotel with our Marriott points. I try to make sure I save money there, right? And then I go just myself for 24 hours. I might work on my business, or I might sleep all day, you know, whatever I choose to do, right? So tell us about what are some of the things you do for your self-care and balancing.
So one of the biggest things that I start off with, and people may think this is nuts or crazy or inconsequential, but one of the biggest things I do for self-care is I make a cup of tea every afternoon, and also right before I go to bed. And I really take time to focus on making that cup of tea, you know, making sure I watch my little bit of honey go inside the tea, and just spend the moment and really savor that first step. That to me is self-care. Another thing that I do for self-care is I go to bed. I have an alarm that goes off at 9:30, not an alarm, but a little reminder on my phone. It says, hey, it's bedtime at 9:30. And then I know that it's time to go upstairs, start to wind down. I may not fall asleep at 9:30, but I'm starting that ritual. And rituals are really help me to connect to the present moment and be mindful. And it's not just my head, it's also my heart and head sort of syncing, and then being able to go into the moment. I am a big girl, you know, big on spas and all of that. And I think that all of that is great. I'm a big proponent. But it's in the daily moments that you spend in pouring back into yourself. You know, for instance, I got a new moisturizer the other day. And really one of the things that I did is I said, you know what, I am really going to massage my face and really be present. And what does it feel to, you know, just massage my face and move up? And it was a crazy day. It was actually a day that a couple things didn't go right for me, and I made a huge mistake. And really, I could have just gone and had a glass of wine and tune out in front of Netflix, right? But I really went back and I said, you know what? I am so proud of you. You've got to learn from this experience. That's self-care. That is self-care. And this is one of the things that at times I remind my clients that, you know, as we're going in business, you're going to have experiences that are going to be challenging. You're going to be in front of a computer, maybe trying to upload a course and it's not happening. Well, guess what? Then retreat and find the small moments in which you can do the simple things that will care for you so that you can show up better the next day. So that's a little bit of what I do.
Okay, I love that. For everybody who's listening, when you're watching this, you'll see it. But if you're listening, did you guys like hear her describe? She watches the honey. I just like, I felt like I was having that cup of tea with you just then. It was so awesome. And my mom has a cup of tea every morning, so we're a tea family as well. So I love that, and I loved it the like taking the time with the moisturizer. That was very, you know, it's so true. Like really feel what you're feeling, right? And really sit down. That whole mind body thing over the last 35 days, I've been learning how to meditate. I've had a great meditation coach and I love her. And so I've been really working on that meditation. And now what I do, she taught me to set my alarm on my phone at least 2 or 3 times a day to stop and like breathe, like do a breathing exercise. Right. So I have it as an alarm on my phone. Like, you know, you guys, these are good for something other than just.
That's right. That's right. And while we're speaking of that, and I think that, you know, it's funny. Someone asked me yesterday and I happen to have it here. This is how I got started with meditation. This is the book that got me started. This is probably about 7 years ago. It's May Cause Miracles by Gabby Bernstein. And it's a 40-day guidebook on meditation. And I thought, you know, she's crazy. There's no way I can sit and clear my mind. And that's not what it's all about. And certainly I've learned. Also, when you're ready, I have on the podcast episodes, I have a 21-day meditation course.
Oh,
and it's
awesome.
free. So that's always fun.
I was kind of like what you said with the book. I said to Sharon, because we did it on Zoom. She works with you every single day for 35 days. Face to face. You start out with like maybe 5 minutes and you lead up. By the time you're done, you're doing it for 20 minutes, but you're doing it twice a day. So you do it once a day with Sharon and then once a day by yourself. And she walks you through breathing all the way to manifestation and all that. Right. So real quick. So let's talk about manifestation for a second. I didn't really I bought into it, but not 100% into it. Right. I was kind of, I don't know about that. Right. And so I started my journaling and I saw things happening, but I went on my Facebook page this morning. If you guys go check me out on our Facebook link, you'll see we had a situation come up in our family and it was a little concerning. And I'd already done my meditation. I was already getting ready to go for bed. And I was like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. So I thought, I'm just going to meditate. And so I meditated and I kept saying, I see this person releasing this person. And I did that for 20 minutes. Not even 24 hours later, the person I was meditating on called us and said they had released the person that I was manifesting. So good. It's so powerful, you guys. It's
so powerful. Our mind is really, in tune with the things around us. And I think that we just need to give it power in the space, because sometimes you just need to give things space. And I think that for many years, I never understood, give it some space or give that person space or hold space for them, right? What does that mean? But the reality is that that's what you were doing. You were just really holding space and allowing things and connecting to the inner calm and peace that you can find when you really go inside yourself. And again, it's not so much that you are stopping the thoughts or the worry, but you're just watching them. You're just watching them. Just like you would sit outside on a sunny summer day and watch the clouds go by. That's the same thing that you were doing there. So I love that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, I have this thing, we were talking about it before we hopped on. I have these amazing cards and they're called Better Questions, Better Life. My really good friend, she's a partner on our pajama retreat. So every year, for those that are listening, we have a yearly PJ retreat where for 5 days you show up, we take off our makeup, and the whole weekend we hang in our pajamas and we do really cool things. And this year we're talking about igniting the fire within, clearing your path, and get that fire within started. So Carol Gill is a partner with us on our retreats. And so she has these things, they're called Better Questions, Better Life. And they're just questions. And this is what I'll meditate over sometimes in the morning now, or I'll journal over, or I'll just has like my card sits in front of me the whole day long. So I'm going to pull a card. And what I'm going to do is you just tell me when to stop and I'll open up the card. So here we go.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, I don't want you to see the cards.
All right. Don't show me the cards. All right. Stop.
Okay. All right. So this is the card. This is what we do with you guys on the podcast. So your question, if you so accept it, is how can I connect with nature today? So how do you connect with nature?
Okay. So here is one of the things, and I am not perfect at this. I am a work in progress when it comes to this. Connecting with nature is something that is such an integral part that I highly recommend it for all. I know the power that it has for me. And one of the things that people say that you should ground yourself every day and go outside. And in New England, when, you're in Tampa, so lucky girl, but in New England, when it was 13 degrees with the wind chill this morning, I certainly did not want to put my feet out in the ground today, but I did. I let my dogs out and I came out all bundled up and I just went, and it was sunny, and I breathed. I took the moment to breathe. And because it's sunny, I also turned over, faced east, and let the sun shine in my face. And I promptly went back inside. I don't do it every day, but that's a great way to connect and really finding something that grounds you to the present moment that is related to nature. Yes, I should be walking, and one's maybe is, not 30 degrees outside, I will be walking more, and I'll go back to taking my daily walks. And that's been one of the biggest things that has been a gift during this past year, that I am able to take more walks in my neighborhood and really look at the birds and the changing of the leaves. And as a matter of fact, there is one moment in springtime. My birthday is in the springtime, so I always look forward to spring. But there's always that moment when you live up north or in places that are cold and your trees lose their leaves, that it's when you least expect it. You look outside, you look at a tree, and then all of a sudden you notice a bud. And you know that that bud is going to be a leaf, and then all of a sudden everything is going to be green. And it's that moment of hope that even if it's 13 degrees, and that's what I will say to your listeners, is if you are in the hot weather, if you are, just look outside, look around you, and you can ground to nature, and you can ground to that moment.
I love that. I love, like you said, going outside. Like last night, my office is upstairs, so we downsized, we moved, so we've done a lot of reflecting, and we've downsized. So my office is now upstairs, so our master's downstairs. So it's great because everything I do is up here. I can leave work. It's almost like have my own little, floor of office. Yep. So last evening, right out my window here to my right, I can see it's just beautiful sunset out right now, and there's somebody across the street's got this beautiful American flag, and it's just gorgeous to see every day. And last evening we got this really intense rainstorm, and I called my friend's son that's staying with us right now, and I called him in. I'm like, look at the sky. It's like this bluish gray, it was so pretty, right? So it was just gorgeous. So you're right. Like connecting and getting outside and feeling that sun is just really, really important. Yeah. So this has been a blast. I've been loving this. Yeah. I'm so glad you're on. And so one of the questions that I love to ask, besides the card question, is everybody always knows my tagline is helping you find your inner pearl to greatness, right? So what is your inner pearl to greatness?
My inner pearl of greatness is really living in a way in which I honor the people that have breathed belief into me, in which I am also showing up. It's the best version of myself today, even better than I was yesterday, and working to become the person that I can be tomorrow. And that's my inner pearl of greatness.
Awesome. I love it. So Julie, thank you so much for hanging out with us today at Conversations with Pearl. We are so glad you joined us today. And again, my name is Pearl Sharenza, and I'm with Women's Successful Living. But before we sign off, Julie, I would love you to share with everybody how they can find you, all your social media. And I know you and I met on Clubhouse, so
that's right. So share. Absolutely. Pearl, thank you so much for having me. You are one of the kindest spirits that I know, and I am so happy that you're part of my universe. You can find me at any of the socials at Julie DeLucca-Collins, and that's DeLuca with 2 C's. I am also in Clubhouse as Julie Del Co. My podcast is Casa de Confidence, and you can hear my hashtag handsome hot husband, my co-host, who we do some little interaction with in there. And of course, my website is goconfidentlycoaching.com.
Awesome. I'm so excited. Thank you again. And again, my name is Pearl Sharenza with Women's Successful Living. This has been Conversations with Pearl, and I hope you guys go out and find your inner pearl to greatness. Have a great day.
Hello, sunshine, good to see you again. Had to walk out to let you back in. Stuck in a storm.